And in terms of Everton, the Athletic report that Friedkin's considering extending the new stadium capacity. How sort of positive would that be for Everton to be able to get a bit more from the stadium in terms of revenue in there and potentially open it up to bigger events maybe as well?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to change the stadium. So I don't think. I think those stories are not quite right. If you were, there is a really interesting interview on YouTube with the architect, the Everton architect, who talks about this issue quite specifically. It was only recorded in the last week or so, and he dispels any idea that they could easily increase the capacity of the stadium. But moreover, he says that actually there probably wasn't space to build a bigger stadium on the site. So it's not just a case of not having the foresight when they built it, when they were planning it, but actually it wasn't possible according to the architects. So anybody interested in that, should dig out that interview. I think what's more likely is that they will look at the land around the stadium and see what they can do from a kind of hospitality perspective, and maybe bringing some of that US approach to match days outside of the stadium. It doesn't address the things that you're talking about in terms of using the actual stadium itself as a bigger stadium. But as I say, they were restrained by the site itself, according to the architect himself. And you can't get much better than that. They clearly had considered the right size stadium. And he makes a very good point in that video that you've got to try and get the capacity to a level where you think that you will at all times sell every seat in the stadium. You don't want a stadium that's oversized. And therefore you've got to get that balance right of always getting the stadium capacity to match demand, such that you've got a full stadium and high levels of demand for those tickets. So I think the stadium as it is going to be a big success for Everton, but it won't be being redeveloped before it's even opened.
And then Friedkin also is apparently looking to add local businessmen Andy Bell and George Downing to the board. Would that be a smart decision given their links to the club?
With us, they're both definitely high quality business people in the UK and our supporters. I think you need a good balance of independence, to be honest, and you don't just want a load of supporters on the board. I think you need independent non-exec directors who can give a view outside of being a supporter. And I think part of the problem that Everton have had over the years is that they've not had enough challenge from the independent directors around the table, which has led them into some situations, and they've had overly dominant owners. And it's always a problem in football because of the structure of most of these clubs. They tend to be owned 100% by the investor, and therefore it's very hard for people who are running the club to say no. But I think the best organisations will have some challenge coming from the board, and will have some challenge coming from the independent directors. So it's just a question of whether those two individuals can be sufficiently objective. We know that as much as we don't like to admit it, people find it very difficult to be objective about football.